Hello everyone and welcome to this week's AEW Dynamite review. My name is Steve Smith and you are watching the Broke Britannia channel. So this week you might have noticed that this is a pre-recorded review. It has not been recorded live. I've been having some crazy issues with things going live to the channel. I don't know what's happening, I don't know why it's happening. But regardless, we've got to do it this way so we can avoid it happening again. I don't want to make a big deal of it. Hopefully it's sorted for next week or the week after. But until we get it sorted, I'll be doing it like this, pre-recorded. Although if you're watching live on Twitch, I will be in the chat whilst this is premiering, so you can still chat away with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to leave a comment. Tell me what you thought about the show. Tell me what you think about the review, and give me your thoughts. What do you think should be happening on AEW Dynamite, or what do you think should be happening on this review? Follow, subscribe, wherever you're watching it, and come and tell me. It's an open forum. Do what you want to do. Say what you want to say, but say it to me. And let's build this up into something cool. So, let's look at Dynamite from last night. It was actually a really fun show. I really liked it, so I'll just say that right off the bat. Spoilers, if you only want to listen to the first 5 minutes of review. I thought it was a good show. You can end show. Bye. It was a great one. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, it was a fun show. I'm just going to get straight into this. So the show started with Christian Cage versus Frankie Kazarian. We started this show with wrestling, a wrestling show with wrestling, yes. I know it sounds bizarre, but it will get there in a second. That's what I've got in my comments here. It started slow, but at the same time, it was a good match. There was a really nice, good feeling out process at the start of this match. So, of course, Christian Cage, legend, has been wrestling for not as long as I've been watching wrestling, obviously, but a very long time, very experienced. Frankie Kazarian's got a career the same sort of length. They both just had careers in different places. So it's really good to see these two coming together in a match like this. Of course, it's not their first match. They fought when they were in TNA and stuff like that. And you can tell, because this was a really good match. At the start of the match, the crowd were chanting, "You still got it." And I just thought, look, can you please shut up? Christian never, like Christian's good. Like, can someone tell me, like, why exactly was he retired? I don't know if he was injured or what, but clearly he always had it. He didn't lose it, so there was no need for that chant. But yeah, that chant annoys me, and it got me thinking. I was like, wait a minute, why exactly was he retired? He didn't lose anything. He didn't get injured. He didn't stop having it. He just stopped wrestling. WWE just like, oh, you're retired. We need you to do the Edge and Christian show. I don't know. I would like, if someone can tell me why he was retired, I would love to investigate this. But regardless, Christian looked awesome. So crisp. His selling was brilliant. And he was not afraid to take any sort of nasty spills or anything like that. It looked really good. Kaz worked, during the match, Kaz worked this front face lock thing. I'd never seen it before. It was like a combination of a cravat and a botch. It kind of worked. It was one of these matches where there was lots of holds. There was trading holds, there was locks, wrist locks. It was good. Wrestling. I love wrestling, so I love this match. Christian did not seem to show any sort of ring rust or anything like that, which was awesome. Like, ironically, his character was selling in a way that makes it look like he's been away for a bit. You know, things were just going a bit slower. He was selling things a bit more. He was just being more methodical. But you could see that this was selling. This was character work. Because in between those sections, he's moving fast as hell. He's moving sharp. He's moving quick. He looks on point. Nothing missed. Really good showing. This turned into a really hard-hitting match. I enjoyed it a lot. Towards the end of the match, Cage kicked out of Kaz's big springboard leg drop. He broke out of a chicken wing, and he even managed to beat the count after getting flux capacitored from the top rope. But like I said, Christian was on fire here. He looked great. The finish to this match came right before the time limit. Like, this match went about 18 minutes. It was a long match. And they really were pushing it up to the time limit to such an extent I was starting to think that we might get a time limit draw in this match, and it might be the start to something. But alas, no, it didn't. The finish to the match came. Christian managed to avoid Kaz. Kaz hit his shoulder into the post. This gave Christian the opening for the kill switch, aka the unprettier, whatever you want to call it, for the win. It was a solid match, absolutely worth watching. Christian looked great. Kaz looked great. Christian does not look like he's been not wrestling for 7 years. He looked great. He's like, I could say he looked great a million times. You get the drift. He did not have any ring rust. It was a great... I really liked this. This was followed up by a very quick Darby Allin promo. Now, this was aimed at Matt Hardy. It was one of your typical Darby Allin videos. It was black and white, people wearing paper masks of Matt Hardy. The whole story was that Matt has to earn Darby's respect because money doesn't mean shit to Darby. That was his words, not mine. It was a fun video, and I guess that they are going towards Matt and Darby for the title, which, I mean, I'm slightly confused with this. I thought Matt's beef was with the Dark Order, not with Darby Allin, but whatever, it'll be fun. Darby Allin is great in matches, Hardy's great in matches, and he's got the whole Hardy family office with him now, so there's a lot of good can come from this. We then saw a very quick Jade Cargill promo before the next match. Jade tells us she has it. And she's right. She does have it, and she is coming for Red Velvet. That's all you need to know from this. Next up on the show, we had the exhibition match. This was Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall with Arn Anderson as the special referee. Now, I was kind of surprised that this wasn't like the main event of the show, because this seemed like it would be a main event sort of match, you know. But no, it's not. It's not even the top of the hour match. It was just like the second match on the show. So I was kind of surprised where this was on the show. But again, this could all be playing into the story where Cody's putting the match on just a nothing match, a nothing part of the show where no one cares about. This all could be part of the storyline, you know. This is all QT's beef, that he's not getting enough opportunities, that he's not getting the same opportunities as other people. He's being ignored. So this could all play into it in the future. Who knows? The story earlier on in the match was that QT was trying to out-technical Cody, but every time Cody seemed to just know what was happening, and he had a counter for everything. And as you would imagine, that would frustrate that would frustrate anyone, and it definitely frustrated QT. Adding insult to injury, Cody kept refusing to take, like, I wouldn't call them cheap shots, but, like, for instance, he had QT's wrist at one point, and he could have stomped him in the head, but he just stopped his foot just that far above his head. He's like, no. Then later on, he had Cody, and he was ready to put him in the figure four, but he's like, no. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that, but we'll get to that spot in a bit. It did feel very much like an exhibition match, which was the whole thing that Cody said. He was on an exhibition match, and he didn't want to hurt QT. So QT was not playing this friendly, nice game. When he got the opportunity, he just started working over Cody's bad shoulder. Strikes, arm drags, hammer locks. Cody fought back, but again, he refused to win, and he refused to go that extra step and try and hurt QT, even though QT was clearly trying to hurt him. And yeah, like I said, it got to a point where he had QT set up for the figure four, but he refused to put them in the figure four. Now, we know from last week that he's refusing to put him in the figure four because he doesn't want to break his legs, but that's just silly. Like, on leg breaking in figure fours. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone breaking anyone's legs with a figure four, whether in story or not. I mean, Cody is no savage. He's never broke anyone's legs in a match. He's never broke anyone's legs with a figure four, ever. I don't really understand this. It's like, you still need to win the match, Cody. The figure four is not a banned move. It's not going to instantly break his leg. It's a submission hold. Like, why was he not doing it? It's like, if Cody does not want to hurt QT, then why did he have the match in the first place? It just all seems a bit redundant, you know? And then, everything turned, though. Everything turned. After, QT gets put out to the outside of the ring, and Cody's, condescendingly holding the ropes open for QT. And he's, sitting on the middle rope, holding it, come on, in you come. You know, he's being a condescending mother sucker. And QT just loses it. Clocks Arn Anderson with a punch, knocks him down. And then everyone starts losing their shit. Like, the Nightmare family get in the ring. They're like, what's happening? And then, out of nowhere, Aaron Solo, Mike Comoroto, and Olympic boxer and dark commentator Anthony Ogogo all turned on the Nightmare family. So it's like the Nightmare Factory turned on the Nightmare family. I didn't see this coming, and I kind of liked it. It looks like we have this split coming. It's like, it's really cool. So, I mean, Aaron Solo has a chair. Comoroto's just a huge dude. Gogo's a boxer, so he can knock people out for fun. And they started beating up the Nightmare family. Started beating the crap out of them. As you can see here, look at the state of Dustin in that picture. He got owned. Like, the segment ended with QT having, like, so this was a beatdown and a half. This was a nice beatdown. So first of all, QT standing on the outside the ring while this is all happening, like the mastermind behind it all, you know. And the first person that gets the real beating is Shorty Lee Johnson. So no, you might remember a few weeks ago. If you don't, Shorty Lee Johnson won his first match, and when after the match, he thanked everyone from Brandy, all sorts of people, but he didn't mention QT, who is his actual trainer and coach. So QT was annoyed by this. Shorty Lee Johnson gets power bombed over the top rope to the ramp. It looked brutal. Comoroto's a monster. He managed it with ease. So that was him. He's taken out. So when I seen this, I was like, okay, so he's got a beef with Shorty Lee Johnson. We know this. He's obviously target number one. But it didn't stop there. As we can see there, his head is leaning on the ring steps. Comoroto picks the ring steps up, like by the worst sort of angle you could, places them on the stage. They then take Dustin, who by that point is bust. I don't know how Dustin got bust open, but he did. Awesome. Dustin got pile drivered onto the ring steps on the stage. It was like, whoa, savage. And then, following Dustin getting pile drivered, they then picked up Cody. And so you've got Aaron Solo and Comoroto are both holding Cody up in the ring. Agogo gives him a huge gut punch. Olympic boxer puts Cody down. They then drag Cody to the same ring steps. They're away to give him the same powerbomb on the ring steps. But Red Velvet came out of nowhere and stopped it. She went over Cody. She's shielding Cody. He's like, no. She makes the bad guys all back off. They all go backstage. It's the end of the segment. Cody's left. Cody left. The whole Nightmare family is left beaten, bloody, bruised. This was a good beatdown. It maybe went a bit long. I don't know. It could have been longer. Maybe could have been shorter. Of course it could have. But I liked it. Regardless of length, it was good. It worked. I don't know, like, when we look at factions in AEW, I don't know if we need a new faction yet. No, I mean, we've got quite a lot of factions in AEW. I don't know if we need it, but it definitely won't hurt things having another team going about. And it looks like it's official. QT, Anthony Agogo, Aaron Solo, and Mike Comoroto are bad guys. I'm guessing that this is going to be the Nightmare Factory team, and we're going to have the Nightmare Factory versus the Nightmare Family. Psh. It can only be good, because, I mean, they'll train together. It can be a good thing, or, who knows, this may be the big faction that we need for shows like Dark and Dark Elevation. Maybe that's their role. They're going to be like the faction that rules those shows. That would be a good thing. You know what I mean? It saves having the main factions on the other shows, and it gives them all something to do. It's, like I said there, I don't know if we need another faction, but it's certainly not going to hurt anything. After this match, we had a very quick Ethan Page Scorpio Sky promo. It seems that they're a team now, and they are going to face the Seidel brothers on Monday on Dark Elevation. They said it all starts then. I don't know what started then, if it's their tag run or whatever, but I guess we've got to watch and find out. Ethan Page is good. Scorpio Sky's awesome. It'll be entertaining, whatever happens. We see a very quick backstage promo with Red Velvet. So they go ask her about the Nightmare Family breakup, but before she can say anything, Jade Cargill storms in. She gets totally mugged by Jane Cargill, left lying. Jade Cargill breaks her shoe. She mentions her shoe gets broken, but it doesn't matter. She is awesome. End of segment. Next up, we had a very quick Jon Moxley promo. Now, do I need to say this was awesome? Moxley is always awesome. The story he's telling today is he can't stop hearing the crack of Eddie Kingston's ankle being broken, and it is pissing him off. I mean, in general, he's pissed off. He's Moxley. He always seems to be pissed off. That's what we love about him. Tonight, he will be facing Cesar Bononi. But he says he has the... Wait. He says he has potential, but not if Moxley kills him first. Now, Moxley ends the promo by saying he just wants to drop people on their heads. And I want to watch this, you know? Now, when I seen this match advertised earlier on the show, I was like, wait, what? Moxley versus Cesar Bononi. I was like, oh man, this could be a bit of a shonky match, but I was pleasantly surprised by this. Now, quick Cesar Bononi personal note. I said last week if you can support him by retweeting his messages about his wife's situation, please help him out. It turns out that in the last week, I'm not sure if it's the Brazilian officials or American officials, but they've sorted it out so his sister-in-law can go over at the States and do the bone marrow transplant for his wife. The only thing that's standing in their way now is COVID. Apparently his sister-in-law had COVID, so she's waiting to get over. But thankfully, things are starting to pan out good for the situation with him and his wife, because his wife's got leukemia and needs a bone marrow transplant. If you go on social media, if you want to help him out, he's been trying to get traction with his stuff because he's been needing like various international bodies to help him out. So I think things are starting to go their way. If you follow him on Twitter, give him any support you want. A good lad, and clearly no one should be in a situation like that. But back to the match. Yeah. This was a surprisingly good match. There was no fancy stuff in it. It was a brawl. Both men beat the living piss out of each other. And Bononi looked really good in this match. I will say it right now. Bononi was obviously accompanied by Nick Nemeth and JD Drake. They've got a team building here. It's good. They've got a faction of 3 people that can work. So, I mean, you've got JD Drake. He's a big bruiser, awesome worker. You've got Nemeth. He's awesome character. Love his character. He's just so hyper. And yeah, you got Bononi. He's just huge. Huge, jacked guy who can hit people. Now, this is exactly the sort of match that Bononi should be in, and they should be happening. This played up to every single one of his strengths and ignored what he is not so good at. Technically, Bononi seems to be finding his feet now in AEW, and I'm starting to warm to him. His strikes in this match all looked great. Sometimes he seems to maybe go a bit fast and lose his footing in a match. But even now, like, we're 2 months into his time at AEW, this seems to be fading out and he seems to be calming down a bit. I was massively impressed by Bononi in this match. This was a shining example of how good Jon Moxley can be and how good he is at the moment. I mean, when I watched this match, I was thinking in my head, Bret Hart versus Tom McGee. Now, you might be wondering, hey, what? And it's because this is the sort of match where someone like Vince McMahon would watch this match and be like, that Bononi, he's great. Forgetting that he's already sacked him, you know, but he'd be like, he's great. He's the next Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? And then he'd book him, then he'd be like, okay, maybe he's not the next Roman Reigns. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean this is a diss anyway. I just mean this is in a match where a great worker made someone look $1 million. And that is exactly what happened in this match. Caesar, the way the match went out, Caesar had the advantage through the break. After this, all went to Moxley. The finish came when Bononi had Moxley set up for the pump handle slam. But when he did the whoop, you do the pump handle, you throw them up onto the shoulder. Moxley just went up and over, transitioned smooth as you like into a sleeper rear naked choke. Put him to sleep, got the win. Very entertaining match. Great fit. I really like the finish. I just love the way how smooth Moxley went up and over the top and just put him to sleep. And as I said, Bononi's selling this was great. Spot on. Really like this match. I really like it when people who have put on not so good matches put on matches that are really good. And I just think this shows that how good a system AEW is for people to come in and start working and finding their feet. I don't know what they're doing training-wise, but it seems to be working. We then went to a very quick Team Tarz promo. Tarz is trying to say that everything's okay, but it quickly devolves into an argument between Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. It is what it is. I guess they're building to a Starks versus Cage match down the line. I just want to say that Ricky Starks wears shoes that looks like shoes my mum would wear. I just had to say that. Like, I am pretty sure my mum had a pair of slip-on suede shoes exactly like the ones Ricky Starks is wearing in this segment. Clearly, Ricky Starks goes to Timpson's for his shoes or somewhere like that. Next up, we had a great segment. This was a surprise to me. I did not see this coming. I did not see what was going to coming. It was great. I thought this was just going to be a silly little backstage segment with MJF giving his gifts to the Pinnacle. Because obviously last week he said he was going to give gifts to all the Pinnacle members. So before we get into it, for some reason the audio for this segment was all messed up. It sounded like someone was recording the audio through a phone that was in a bottle at the back of the room. It just didn't sound right, but I can let that go because the segment itself was brilliant. So MJF says he's got the gift. So there's a guy there. He's got a stylist for them. So the first gift is the personal stylist. Fancy suits all around. So they've got a stylist. He's got a book of material swatches for the suits. They're all going to get good suits. You know, they're the Pinnacle. They're going to look the best. Fancy suits all round. MJF then goes on to say, that's not all, folks. We've also got an interior decorator. We're going to get rid of the stench of the inner circle. Because, of course, the locker room they're in just now, it was formerly the Inner Circle's one, and MJF and the Pinnacle stole it from them. So yeah, MJF's going on. He's like, we need to get the stench of the Inner Circle out of the room. And he goes towards the bathroom door for some reason. He opens it. And yeah, boom. I was like, what? Chris Jericho, Santana Ortiz, Sammy Guevara are all just standing there looking like they are ready to kill him. MJF's reaction to this was bloody brilliant. He was just closes the door. He was like, right, everyone, we gotta go. And they're like, we gotta go now. Opens the door, like, to get the door out into the lobby. And Jake Hager standing at that door, like, it just starts beating him up. Like, yes. It all just broke down into an epic backstage melee. It was awesome. The brawl, it quickly leaked out of the dressing room into the backstage segment. You had Sammy killing Sean Spears with a door, like proper banging him. Hager put Wardlow through a massage table. And then, like, we've got backstage, like, they've got like a weird area in Daly's place where they've got like their ice bath. It's like a backstage area that looks like a lounge, right? Santana and Ortiz and FDR ended up in this bit. Wheeler got thrown into the ice bath. As you can see, Dax got beaten up with a table leg. He was all busted open and everything. So much happened here, and I didn't expect any of it. It just came out of nowhere. We then cut back to MJF and Y2J, who were beating the crap out of each other. Jericho eventually beat MJF up so bad that he's got him. You can do what he wants with him. And what he did is he put his head down a toilet and starts flushing him, trying to drown him down a toilet. I was like, yes. MJF needed his head flushed down the toilet. It was fun. Jericho then tells him that the worst is still to come, and he throws his head through a Pepsi fridge, through the glass at the front of a Pepsi fridge. It was great. It was great. We end the segment with Jericho putting the Inner Circle sign back outside the locker room. The Inner Circle have reclaimed what is theirs. They have their locker room back. And, I mean, if this was just like a warm-up battle for what's to come, we're going to see some insane stuff in this feud. Like, this was brilliant. This was brilliant. Loved it. Did not expect it, and absolutely enjoyed it. So next up, we had a quick backstage segment with the Young Bucks, who were backstage with Marvez. So they basically ask what's up with Kenny, but they don't really want to hear it. And before they can go any further, Callis comes into shot. He says something to Nick, who goes away, and you're left with just Matt and Callis. Callis then tells Matt that he broke Kenny's heart. Don tells him, like, what are you doing? He's just basically pouring on the guilt. And then he seems to, like, he starts trying to get in Matt's head. He's like telling him that you're dead inside. You're not what you used to be. Blah, 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 blah. And then he slaps him. Like, Don Callis slaps Matt. And Matt starts going mental, but he doesn't do anything. He just, like, fires up, but doesn't hit Don. Don then just says, you're pathetic, and walks off. It was all... I mean, it's very interesting what's happening here. It's like Don Callis is trying to play on Matt. Trying to turn Matt bad. But Nick's not. I'm getting a Star Wars turn to the dark side sort of vibe from this. It was good. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a very story-led thing. I mean, I don't know if they're teasing a split with the Young Bucks. Like, is Carlos going to make Matt turn bad guy or what? I don't know. I don't know where it's going with this. I don't know if this is maybe a bit too much in the story, but I guess we've just got to wait and see where it all goes. The next match on the card was the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid versus Kenny and the Good Brothers. We got a very quick Penta Says promo before the match. Alex Abraham is so smooth, great. I could listen to Penta Says promos all day. So the match itself started with Laredo Kid being thrown onto the Good Brothers and Kenny with like a pop-up moonsault or a pop-up splash. This was followed by Phoenix moonsaulting them. Then the Luchadors had a wee Superkirk party, which is always fun. So, I mean, right off the bat, so this is one of these matches that was just insane. Just flips, dives, spots, fast stuff, gravity being totally ignored. It was total non-stop action. Like, and I mean that. No pun intended. The most notable part of the match for me was the segments with Kenny and Laredo Kid. It felt like they were really trying to showcase Laredo Kid at points. Like, Kenny kept hitting him with V-triggers, but couldn't put him down for the pin through that. Then he would keep trying to put him up for One Winged Angels, but he was getting out of it. Laredo Kid hit Kenny with one of the most brutal Michinoku drivers I have ever seen. It looked so nice. It was so perfect. Kenny kept trying to hit the One Winged Angel, but it just kept being blocked. In the end, though, Kenny got it on, hit Laredo Kid with the One Winged Angel, got the win. This match was high energy. I don't think they took a break during this whole match. It was just start to finish, just mental. Post-match, Moxley appeared on the stage on his own at first. He stops at the ring ropes before getting in. Then the Bucks joined him behind him. So you've got the Bucks and Moxley as a team now. Well, at least a temporary team. The three of them stormed the ring. Kenny and the Good Brothers all scarpered. Powder. They all run away. Next week, we have got Moxley and the Bucks versus Kenny and the Good Brothers. That is going to be a good match. I expect that to be the main event of the show. If it's not the main event of the show, then whoever's going to be in the main event has got a big match to try and beat. And they're not going to do it. I'm just going to tell you now. That's going to be the match of the night. Maybe the match of the month. Next up, we had a very quick Dr. Britt Baker DMD promo. She said, this is quite funny, she's like, Dark's going to be a good place for Thunder Rosa to get her wins up. And then she points out that the unsanctioned match didn't count. That means Thunder Rosa does not have a win over Britt Baker. So next on the show, we had Nyla Rose and the Bunny versus Shida and Ty Conti. So the entire Hardley family office came to the ring with the Bunny and Vicky Guerrero. Now, on the Bunny, as a character, I am not a huge fan of the character. Like, I just don't get it. What is her character? Is she a girl that pretends to be a rabbit? Is she someone who thinks they are a rabbit? Or is this just some sort of weird reference? I don't know, and I just don't get. I don't know. I just don't get it. It's a weird one, you know. It just seems like a weird character. Ty Conti came out. She had the entire Dark Order with her, which is always good to see. So, during the match, we had the entire Dark Order and the Hardy family office at ringside. So I was expecting there to be some sort of brawl here, and we did get one eventually. The match itself was fast-paced, had a lot of fiery stuff in it, which I always like. But technically, it was not that great. The best portions of the match were the bits with Nyla and Shida going at it. Those two were on point. Bunny's wailing noises just hurt my brain. Like, I could do a lot less of these on the show. She's such a charismatic person. She's so hyper. I can relate to that. Sometimes maybe a little too hyper. But that noise, goddamn, that grates on my head. I would rather have Vicky Guerrero shout, "Excuse me," than have the Bunny do her weird shouty noise. Tay Conti stayed out of the match for most of this. It seemed like her role was to just come in for the hot tag. The hot tag itself seemed a little bit botched. I mean, Ty Conti and Shida, they got their tag, but it didn't seem like the bad guy team got their tag properly, so I don't know what happened there. Regardless, you wouldn't have noticed it unless you're really looking to pick holes in the match. Ty looked great. She took the Bunny outside, hit a brutal spinning backbreaker on her, then both teams started going at it. There was a big dive spot, but there was a funny dive spot. So First of all, I can't remember who went first and who went second. I think it was the bunny did the first dive. So the bunny did like a dive from the corner onto a pile of people. Now, the pile of people that caught her was members of the Hardy family office and the number 10 Preston Vance. Now, the timing was a bit off here. And what happened was they caught the first woman, and then you had like what seemed like, it felt like 30 seconds, but it was only about 2, with like the Hardy family office and Preston Vance all holding her, looking at the ring, waiting for the next person to drop him. Like, and it was like, guys, come on, it looked a bit contrived, it looked a bit silly. It happened, as I said, it was one of those moments where time stood still. You're just like, you had that shot in your face. It's like, wait, why is Preston Vance helping the Hardy family office? But the other I think it was Conti came off the rope second. She did her dive. Everything was cool. The finish to the match came when the bunny was in the ring. She got a kendo stick. The ref got distracted by Vicky Guerrero, and Conti got hit with the stick and then hit with a final cut, which is Bunny's finishing move, which she calls the rabbit hole, for the win. The match was okay. A few shonky bits within the match, but overall, it was good. On next week's Dynamite, we are told we will be getting Moxley and the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Yes. The Bunny versus Ty Conti with everyone at ringside. Darby Allin versus JD Drake. That should be a good match. This was apparently an open challenge that JD Drake has said he will take up. I'm down with that. The Inner Circle will return. I mean, they returned on this show, but they will return properly next week. We will get the Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. Now, we had a quick Jurassic Express promo where Jungle Boy gets into trouble for calling them animals. They are mammals. They mention King Godzilla versus King Kong, the movie that's coming out. Marco's got a new King Kong tattoo there. He gets into trouble for. I mean, it was a fun little promo. It wasn't. I don't think it was supposed to be a serious promo. I will say what happened to the build with this match. Like they've been in 2 matches together, and now they're having like the feud match. Like, I don't know. It feels a little rushed. You know. I feel like there should maybe be some more things happening between the 2 teams before we get to them actually fighting. But of course, in the way feuds work, they'll have the fight, and that'll start the feud, then it'll start the beef, then we'll go on, then we'll get the hardcore match, then we'll get the cage match, then we'll get whatever. I'm down with that. That's cool. I don't know what the main event is on next week's show. I am assuming it is Moxley and Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. And then we move. Oh yeah, I forgot. Of course, there's everyone standing tall there. The main event of tonight's show. MIRO and Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. The Arcade Anarchy match. The entire ringside was turned into an arcade. They had like video games, so they had some classic arcade machines here, by the way. They had a Killer Instinct 2 machine, a Primal Rage machine. There's some Mortal Kombat 2 machine as well, so they had that there. They had like whack-a-moles, they had games, they had silly games. They had the prizes bit, and all the prizes were just chairs and kendo sticks and stuff like that. They put a lot of work into this. It was really cool. I really liked what they've done. So I think this was the debut of Orange Cassidy's new music on the show, which is by the Pixies. It's perfect for him. The show is absolutely perfect for him. I mean, the song is from the soundtrack of Trainspotting, which is a film about people getting smacked out and lying about. This is perfect for Orange Cassidy. You know what I mean? There's a song that's like slow, methodical. It's good. I don't know why I said methodical there. Just forget I said that. So there was no lazy Orange Cassidy in this match. He was trying right from the go. As soon as he started, Orange and Chuck just ran straight up at Kip and MIRO. Kip got through early on in the match. Kip got planted through a whack-a-mole machine. Then Orange hit him with a mallet. It was pretty funny, but then MIRO just ran over him and owned the crap out of him. MIRO was a flipping animal in this match. Like, he threw Orange Cassidy around like he was just absolutely nothing. At points, it looked like he was going a bit too hard. Like there's at points where MIRO's doing stuff and I'm like, Jesus, guy, you're going a bit hard there. I mean, like, there was one spot in it where he, like, as you can see here on the picture there, Orange Cassidy sitting Kip Sabian with a big mallet from a whack-a-mole mallet. Later on in the match, Miro got the mallet and he hit Orange Cassidy in the back with it. But he didn't just go bonk. He went, really smacked him in the back. Like, Orange Cassidy was selling it, like, hard for a minute. It looked painful. It looked really, 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 really painful. It's like, Jesus, Miro. I mean, Miro took a chair into the match. Like, he put a chair into the ring to take that involved. But it's like, clearly, he did not need the chair. It's like, he threw Orange Cassidy into the chair. Like, he did the thing where you put the chair between the top and middle rope and throw something into it. It was like a brick wall the way Orange Cassidy hit it. I was like, damn. The match was mental. Yeah, Chuck jumping off arcade machines. Kip was knocked out for most of the match, and then later on in the match he got knocked out again. So that was quite funny. The best friends eventually got the better of Miro. They were beating him about with weapons. Like, this is one of the things about Miro. He's just a total animal. Like, there was a bit where they're pinballing Miro. So, like, I can't remember what weapon Chuck's got, but Orange Cassidy's got like a trash can lid. He's getting hit. Then Orange Cassidy just starts hitting him over and over and over, and he's not going down. He's like, he's just like, he's selling it, but he refuses to go down. He knows how to make himself look like an animal, and I love it. It's like, more of this. It's just so good. This whole point after the trying to put Miro down, but he wouldn't. Orange and Chuck then lariated Miro with a steel barrier, which did put him down. They then started piling tables and arcade machines and all sorts of stuff on top of Miro to stop him getting up. Good strategy. I would say this was a sound strategy in beating a monster like that. Kip made his return to the match just after this to try and save Miro, and then he beat up both Orange Cassidy and Chuck for a bit, which included him kicking Orange Cassidy through a wall. Chuck fired back though. He got the better of Kip and threw him in the ring. Chuck then grabbed a teddy bear. I was like, wait, what? A teddy bear? Chuck goes in the ring and you notice there's like tape on the back of the teddy bear. It's been ripped open and something's moustache in there. He rips open it and he pours Lego. Lego comes pouring out the bear. Now, some people might be like, Lego. What the Lego? What are we fucking going to do with Lego? Lego is no joke. Lego is probably more painful than pins. Like, this might sound stupid. A pin's just a pick. These things leave bruises. Lego is painful. Have you ever stepped on Lego? Exactly. I've not seen Lego in a wrestling match in years, and I was very happy to see Lego in a wrestling match. Kip got DDT'd onto Lego. He got beach breaked onto, like, Orange hit Kip with this, like, a really quick, almost spinning beach break. It was so good, but he only got 2. Cassidy nearly had the win, but Penelope then made the save. She dragged the ref outside. And then, or did she drink? I can't remember what happened. She dragged someone outside, then she low-blowed Orange Cassidy outside. She was then going to wait to start beating up Orange Cassidy with her belt. So Penelope takes her belt off. People are like, wait, why is she taking her belt off? Then she'll wait to beat him up, obviously. You never see women taking their belts off to beat up someone. It's about time we had, really. So she's a way to start beating up Orange Cassidy, which is beside one of these, like, you know, like a claw machine for teddy bears. She's like, bang there, Orange is there, and then, out of nowhere, out of the teddy bears, Chris Statlander rises from the bears. Statlander is back. She is no longer injured. She has returned. Obviously, to save her best. I don't know if Orange is her best friend or her boyfriend or whatever, but we just know that Chris Statlander is always going to be there for Orange Cassidy when he needs her, and vice versa. They're very good friends. So, out of nowhere, the alien rises out of the teddy bears to save Orange Cassidy. Now, the way she broke out of this machine, I could not do it justice with a screen grab, right? Like, as you can see there, right, she's in this box and she's got like a plexiglass plate, like, board right in front of her. The way she bust out of it was she just went pop, and like she hit it as hard as she could, and it didn't just come off. The board went like right into Penelope Ford's face. It was actually hilarious because it didn't just come off and fall off. Like, I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but the plexiglass just went. It just flattened Penelope Ford. I felt so bad for her, but at the same time, it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. This led to Chris Statlander taking Penelope onto the ring apron and giving her like a Michinoku driver slam sort of thing through the air hockey table that was at ringside. Penelope is out of the match. Statlander killed her. And then Miro re-entered the match and killed everyone again. So, I mean, the finish to this match was really quite good. I mean, I wrote at the end of this review that I didn't think it was as good as the car park brawl, but you know what? Now I'm actually talking about it and going back over it, it maybe is actually better than the car park brawl. Like, the finish came when Miro, he was like setting up a table outside, right? So he was setting up a table leaning against like a wall. And you had a shot where Chuck and Orange Cassidy are like walking, you know, like in Daly's place, they've got like they've got that ramp thing where the cars can drive down to ringside. So they're like crawling up that ramp thing. And well, spoilers, it's Sue. So yeah, they're crawling up the ramp, and you just see this white people carrier driving into shot, and then as soon as you see the thing, you're like, that's Sue's van, that's Trent's mum. And yeah, you're right, it is Sue. Sue's van pops up and Trent comes out the back. Trent makes his return to the match. He is obviously healed from his injury as well. The best friends are back to full strength. They all run at Miro. They try to take him. Now, I will say that I think Sue should have just ran Miro over. But we'll get to that in a little second. I think the match went on for about another 5 minutes after this. All the good guys beat up Miro. Then Chuck Taylor gave Kip a huge slam through a pile of tables off the stage. I did think this went a bit too long. I think when Trent made his return, Miro shouldn't have been getting anything in on Miro. On Trent, it should have just finished not long after this, but it didn't. That doesn't hurt the match. It was still a very good match. This is just my personal feeling on that. Like, I didn't expect it to go long after he returned, and it didn't, but it did, if that makes sense. They just beat Miro around, basically. The whole story with Miro is he's like inhumanly strong, and you've got to just keep beating him and beating him and beating him and beating him and beating him until you can put him down. So there was a pretty funny spot near the end of it. Like, Miro went to kill Trent with an arcade machine, but the one he picked up, obviously it was a fake arcade machine, but it had real like Killer Instinct 2 sides on it. But the way Miro picked it up, you could see it on the screen, but it just had a bit of A4 paper that said tickets. I was like, okay. That said, it was good. It was good. The finish, I said the finish came about 5 minutes ago, but the finish did actually come when Trent managed to spear Miro through the table. Chuck slammed Kip off the stage through the table. He pinned Kip there, because obviously it was false count everywhere. 1, 2, 3. That was that. What a main event. It was great. The best friends win. Trent returned. Statlander returned. What a match. Now, obviously, going forward from this, I thought that we would maybe get some post-match with this. I thought we might get Miro beating the crap out of Kip. I guess we're going to see that next week or the week after. Or they might just let it go. This might just be the end of this. Kip and Miro might just go their separate ways, and we'll just move on to the next feud. Whatever that may be. I don't know. Whatever they do, this was good. The show goes off the air with the best friends in Statlander all hugging. Good vibes. Thumbs up from Sue at the car park. It was a fun show. I would say go and watch it. There was so much good in this show. Was there any bad? I don't think there was any real bad stuff at all. Just go and watch the show. I would say go and watch it, definitely. If anything, just watch it back for the main event match and the first match, because they were both great. So that was me for this week. That is this week's AEW Dynamite review. If you've not followed the channel already, follow us on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you see this. Subscribe, and most of all, leave a comment. Tell me what you thought, and tell everyone you know to come and watch these reviews next week. If you've got anything you'd like me to say, hit me up, voicebritannia@gmail.com. I will see you all later. Cheerio.